Hi guys, this is Lana. Thank you for tuning into the Sovereign Path. So today I'm going to do kind of a continuation of the video that I released about 2 weeks ago titled You Are Your Higher Self. So you're welcome to watch that. This is just kind of a spin-off from that one, a continuation. So what we're looking at here, and I'm going to keep hitting on these things because the thing about the Twin Flame Path, it's your awakening, it's your spiritual awakening, which everyone should pretty much probably know by now. If you're not going through a spiritual awakening and coming back into consciousness, then you're likely not experiencing a Twin Flame Path. This is not just about romantic partnership with someone in the 3D physical realm. That's not what this is, not what this is about. And so since so many twins, or, just people in general, whether you're a twin or you feel that you're a twin or whatever that is, we really have this narrative that's pushed that this path is only about romantic partnership and coming back into romantic partnership with the twin flame. And as I continue to say, that can be icing, but it's not the cake. It's actually a byproduct of coming back into union with self. Without union with self, then union with the twin in the physical is off the table. And so that's where the awakening process and the ascension is very key to this path, because the ascension process is what is bringing you back into union with self, right? The true full-blown spiritual awakening is what is bringing you back into union with self. But on this path, especially at the beginning of the path, but certainly in the middle stages as well, we really tend to say small because we have this narrative going around that this is just like your best romantic partner ever, and it's just better than a soulmate, and all of these sort of things that are really leading people in the wrong direction in regard to what this is. And it keeps people in a smaller separation consciousness, lower vibratory state of lack, separation, chasing, needing, desiring, wanting, all of those things that keep us out of union with self, right? That keep us off of the awakening path, basically, and that make us feel that we are just human, and this is just what we're doing here, rolling around in this, this ball in the middle of space, and who knows what that means, and blah, 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 all of those sort of things. So the awakening path awakens you out of that. And the main thing that I want to hit on is to let everyone know, who doesn't know this yet, is that there is nothing outside of you that is dictating when you come into twin flame union, that is dictating when you get that next job, that, any of that, right? There is no, I keep saying this, you are your higher self. Right? Not only are you your higher self, but you are also a spark of God's source creation, all that is. You are your spirit guides, right? You are that. So this is one of those things, and you are the universe. Like, the universe isn't just out there handing certain people things. The universe isn't something that you have to try to achieve to get to. Your spirit guides don't know more than you do. You don't have to wait for your spirit guides to give you a nod that this is the direction to go. You don't have to wait for your higher self, as if your higher self isn't you or somewhere out there, or your spirit guides are just floating around. All of these things are you. They're all you, your consciousness vibrating at different states of that same exact consciousness, right? And so when we're going through an awakening process, and certainly on the twin flame path, we give our power away all the time. And we have all of these narratives going along with that are perpetuating giving our power away all the time. And that's part of what this third dimensional reality is based on, because that's separation. That's saying that my higher self is something separate than me. My higher self is somewhere out there, right? and they have all the answers, and they know when things are going to happen. And divine timing is some, mystical, magical thing that isn't me, or my spirit guides, or some mystical, magical thing that isn't me. That creates separation, and it creates that same pattern that is saying there's something better than me. There's something higher than me. There is something that knows more than me. There is something that has to validate me. All of these sort of things that go along with the same thing as the twin being somewhere out there, and that the twin has to validate the romantic partnership, or that they have to validate the emotional feeling, or the emotional connection, or the telepathic connection, or the energetic connection, and what do they feel? And so they have to actually come in and say, yeah, this is actually happening to you. For a lot of us to actually feel like, okay, then since they know that this is happening, or they agree that this is happening, then this must be happening. And the same thing with the higher self. Well, I had a download, or I had an upgrade, or I had this channeling, or I had this message. And so then therefore this must be XYZ, because someone higher than me, someone better than me, someone who knows more than me is telling me X, Y, and Z. And so then therefore that must mean that this is true. All of that is giving our power away. All of it is saying that I am not that, but you are that. I am that. We are that, right? We are pure source consciousness experiencing itself in billions of different ways all the time. We are creating our reality every moment of every second of every day of all of our existence. That's what we do. We're creator beings, right? That's what God is. That's what source is. It is creation. It is constantly creating. We are sparks of that. We are constantly creating as well, based on our beliefs, our thoughts, our emotion, what's going on in our mind, all of these sort of things. We create what we see constantly, always, right? So we have this idea, and it is a belief system that's been taught and continues to be taught, and we see this all over the place on the Twin Flame community, certainly, is that saying that, yeah, I'm waiting for divine time. You are divine timing. Divine timing is not outside of you. It is an octave of you, right? Or, my spirit guide said X, Y, and Z, and so this, da, da, da. You are your spirit guides at a higher octave of you. This is the same consciousness, right? It's the same consciousness experiencing itself at different vibratory states. So the more we are in a belief system, the twin is also you, that you have projected outward based on what's going on within you, and then is reflecting back, right? So the more that we are in this place of feeling that all of these other things are dictating my reality and my experience, and when I'm going to, come into union, you have to come into union with self before you come into union with anything first. We're playing small, right? We're literally just throwing our energy out and throwing our power away all the time based on believing that we are separate from our higher self. How could we be separate from our higher self? It's you. It's your higher self. You're not separate from your higher self. That in itself doesn't make any sense. A lot of these things, if we want to move into the mind space, simply don't make sense, right? And so we're playing small all the time when we're waiting for divine timing to do this, or the higher self to say this, or to get this kind of download, or my guides channeled this thing, and so then therefore it's validating, or it's saying X, Y, and Z, or whatever else, and so now it's time. What we need to do on this path, what this awakening path is about, is coming back into the true embodiment that I am all of that. I am all of that, right? I am creating that. I am having an experience in form, in this illusory dream state that I am creating from within me, right? That's what's happening. That's what's actually happening. And so when I'm always separating myself from myself, whether it's from my twin or my higher self or my spirit guides or divine timing or the universe or source or God, whatever we want to say, then that in itself is perpetuating separation consciousness, which is making us feel that we don't have the power to harness our own experience in this dream state reality. And you do have the power to harness your experience, to create it. You're doing that unconsciously, constantly. Constantly, that's what you're doing. You're creating this, right? And so we need to really come into that awareness and that remembrance. And this is the point of the awakening. This is the point of ascension. Coming back home to self. Coming back home to the understanding that I am that. I am that. I am pure source consciousness creating my reality. And nothing is outside of me. I am all of it. I am all of it. And I don't have to wait around for divine timing. I'm divine timing. It's my vibratory state that is dictating where I am at any given moment, based on the belief systems and the thoughts and the egoic patterns that are going on within me that I have attached to, right? That I have identified with. It's the identity that is keeping us separate from the truth of who we are as pure source creator beings. These identifications are basically just something that your neural nets need to reprogram. You've been programmed to believe that everything is separate from you, including your higher self, right? You've been programmed to believe that divine timing is something out there, and that there's like, you know, someone holding like some sort of a chart and saying, okay, it's Lalana's turn, you know, or Lalana did these things, and so therefore it's her turn to have divine timing. You're divine timing. You are. And divine timing is being created through your belief systems, right? Through the patterns and the programs that we hold on to and that we identify with, right? This is what I keep saying, and this is what I talk about in my course. That's what true healing is. It's rewiring the neural nets that are telling you one thing or 500 things, right? It's rewiring that and resetting it back to the awareness of, oh, I'm not that. I've never been that. Those are experiences that I had that my ego, the false self, identified with and then got imprinted on my subconscious mind and started projecting out into my physical reality and then showing back to me. But that's not what I wanted to create. That's never what I wanted to create. But I held on to that identity, not knowing otherwise, because I was in a sleeping state, right? Now I'm going through the awakening process and I'm coming out of the sleeping state and back into the awareness that I am pure source consciousness, all that is. I was never those traumas, those karmas, those belief systems, those identifications. I wasn't that. It was ego telling me that I was that. And ego is a representation of the false self that runs the separation consciousness programming. Well, awakening pulls you back into the unity consciousness programming, which is who you are. It's not programming, it's just who you are, right? It's oneness, it's truth. It's true union with self. And as I keep saying, this path is not about attaining anything. It's about dropping the lies, basically. It's about dropping the beliefs. It's about dropping the identifications that are keeping all of us small and making us feel like we're just in a perpetuating lack kind of situation, right? That we're having to chase things or earn things or have things validated for us or looking for something outside of us to make us feel complete or whole or seen and all of these sort of things. That's all illusion. I promise you, it's all illusion. You are your higher self. You are the universe. You are divine timing. You are your spirit guides and your team assisting you. You are every single aspect of that. You are. You're simply in a vibratory state that has perpetuated separation consciousness for however many lifetimes, for your soul's experience, for the soul's experience. And awakening is awakening you out of that. Oh, that was an experience that I had, that I created. But now what do I want to create? Now that I understand that I'm a creator and that I've been doing all of these things, and I don't need to continue to experience all of the stuff that I've been experiencing over and over again. I've just been doing that by default because I've still been identifying with it. And so my mind is still creating that over and over again. But that wasn't ever really what I wanted, right? You already learned the lessons. You don't need to keep repeating them. That's one of the biggest things that I hope people take from this video and a lot of the things that I share. You already learned the lessons. If you're like going over and over and over and over and over again, it's not that you didn't learn the lesson. It's that now you've identified with that lesson. Now you've identified with that trauma or that shitty relationship, you know, or that crappy experience or whatever else. Now you've identified with it unknowingly, the ego has, and the ego has taken on that identification as self. Right? And so that's why they keep playing, because now we believe that that's us, but the ego is not you. It will never be you, ever, ever, ever. And the ego doesn't know what the fuck it's saying anyways. So you might as well just stop listening to it. Like quite literally, stop listening to what your ego is saying. It's reactory. It's constantly on the defensive. You know, it's not making the right decisions for anybody because it's not based on consciousness. Right? It's not based on wholeness or oneness or completion or I am love, pure source, God, creation, all that is, you know, a master creator of all my realities. That's who you are. That is truly who you are. And so once you come into this dynamic and come into this awakening, which this dynamic activates, all of those other things that you have been running and identifying with, it's time to release those. They're not you. That's why this path feels so damn difficult. And when we're always like chasing the twin as if they are the ultimate carrot, and the whole reason that we have, you know, come into this experience is to be in romantic partnership with them, then we have lost the whole point. The whole point is for you to come back into romantic partnership with you. It's for you to come back into oneness with you. It's for you to realize that you were never any of those programs and patterns and karmas and traumas that you have been identifying with for however long, right? Once you come back into union with you, then you automatically are going to have some kind of union with the twin because the twin is you and you're projecting it. You're creating them anyway, just like you're creating everything else, right? This is about coming back into your consciousness. And as I keep saying, this is the freedom key, coming back home to consciousness, staying on the awakening path, going fully through the ascension, right? This is the point of this path, and the understanding that you are not separate from those things. You are those things, right? You are everything actually, and you are nothing. And you are creating all of your experiences based on what's going on within you. And that can be a very heavy load to carry, and it can also be a massively heavy load to take off and set down and realize that I can actually create what I want. And that's the point of this awakening, right? To bring me back into my true awareness that I am consciousness. Does that include the twin flame romantic dynamic? It does. It does include that. And as I've said in other videos, once you come into oneness, once you come into neutrality, once you come back into peace within, all of these other things that you have been like arguing about and defending yourself and chasing after and running after, it's just, they're going to fade away. They're just going to fall away because you're going to start seeing this reality for what it is. And you're going to start seeing your true self for who you are. Once you see your true self for who you are, and you come back into the true embodiment of your I am presence, it's the game changer, as I've said. The game changes, the game ends, actually, right? There is no more lack. There is no more separation. There is no more chasing. There is no more yearning. There is no more hoping. None of that. None of that, because none of that was ever you. It was never any of us. And I keep saying, like, this path, it will set you free. If you are a true twin flame and you are experiencing a true spiritual awakening, this path will set you free, right? Because that's the whole point of it. The whole point of it is to bring you back into your true higher consciousness and to take you out of these lower vibratory states that have you running in patterns and loops and fear and separation and all of those things. That's not who you are. You are your higher self. You are your spirit guides. You are divine timing. You are all that and more than that. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope that that resonates. You guys have an awesome day.